Is it the dawn of the Roman Empire in Boston? Baseball's #1 prospect, Roman Anthony, makes his debut for the Red Sox, plus extra innings galore. This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome into MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. J.D. Hafron, host of Locked On Cardinals. My PIC partner in crime, Jon Frisch from Locked On Angels. We're here with you with a lot to get to tonight. The struggling Phillies hosting the Cubs. Can they turn things around? You got the Ohio Cup on the line in Cleveland, a huge West Coast game with the Dodgers and Padres. And as I mentioned, a few extra inning games tonight. This episode being brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. All right, let's start in Beantown. We got the Rays. We got the Red Sox. #1 prospect in all the land, Roman Anthony, finally called up to the Red Sox. Everybody's been asking about him. When's he going to come? When's he going to come? Everybody's waiting on it. Finally got the call today, and immediately they put him into the lineup. Wilyer Abreu goes on the IL for Boston. So how would he fare in his major league debut? Here's Gabby from Locked On Red Sox, who was actually at Fenway Park tonight for this thrilling battle in Boston.
The Red Sox lost another tight battle tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays. It seems to be becoming a pattern with this Red Sox team, but the true storyline of the game was the top prospect in baseball, Roman Anthony, making his debut, and definitely was a little bit of a rough one for him. I'm Gabby Malchanyan from Locked On Red Sox, and Roman Anthony we all saw make his debut for the Red Sox tonight. Went 0 for 4 with a walk, and he did make a pretty tough mistake in the field. So mentally, obviously, it's been a long day for him, new environment, all the pressure of playing at Fenway Park, a place he's not really used to yet. Now it's the big leagues, so he's going to need to get used to playing at this level. He has great swing selection. There's a lot of things about Roman Anthony's game. He's disciplined, and there are a lot of things that you, as a fan, will enjoy about watching him more moving forward. Definitely the storyline of what was a really frustrating game for the Red Sox in which they came up short, but the future is bright. Tune into Locked On Red Sox on any podcast platform for more on Roman Anthony and all other things with the Boston Red Sox.
Bit of a festive atmosphere there, considering they lost this game, John. Final score in this one, Rays win it by a score of 10-8 in 11 innings. It was a crazy game. Obviously, the big story, what Gabby mentioned, was Roman Anthony making his debut. Did get that RBI ground out. The error that she's talking about, there was a base hit to right field, and he charged on it, and it went right under his glove. You know, just one of those mistakes that is going to happen. I'm not sure exactly. I know he's a great offensive player. I don't know how good he is defensively, so I don't know if this is normal for him. But if you're the #1 prospect, I'd assume that you're okay with the glove. But a lot of offense in this one. Teams combined for 18 runs and 22 hits. There were no home runs in this one. It was kind of a dreary, kind of damp night at Fenway Park. Jonathan Aranda, 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs for Tampa Bay. He's now hitting .323 on the season, 6th best in baseball. Jake Mangum goes 4 for 6 with 2 RBIs. John, the Rays are now 36-30.
Yeah.
They have won 15 of their last 19. They're just 4 back of the Yankees all of a sudden. Are you a believer in the artists formerly known as the Devil Rays?
Are they going to have just a symbol to be their team?
I think that's what it should be. Whatever's working for them, keep it up, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're putting it all together. I know they came out stumbling this season, and in a division that you expected, the Yankees to be at the top. You expected the Red Sox, based on the moves they made over the offseason, to be toward the top, but the Rays have just taken advantage of the fact that this division is for the taking, and, being 4 games back of the Yankees, it could be neck and neck all the way to the end of the season if the Rays are able to keep this up. And the fact that they did stumble out of the gate and now they're here, that just says a lot about this Rays team. I guess they just needed to find their groove. They're in a new park. They're at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. which is funny because it's actually in Tampa, not St. Pete, right, where they used to play in the Dome, right, and so, or the Trop, I should say. And so, yeah, maybe it just took some time to adjust, but here they are doing Rays things, and here they are 36-30. I'm buying, JD. I'm in on the Rays. Let's go.
Yeah, they're doing what the Rays tend to do every couple of years. Like they just find some guys that play well together. They usually have like one star, like Junior Caminero doing what he's been doing, and Drew Rasmussen has been outstanding as their starting pitcher. Fairbanks has been their closer and ended up blowing a save tonight, but he's been really good this year, and they've just been making it work. And as I said at the beginning of this year, I was like, I want to see either the Rays or the A's go to the playoffs so that they have to have a game in one of these minor.
Right.
I just want it to happen. I want to see it happen, and the Rays look like they have the best chance to get that done so far. All right, moving on to the Cubs at the Phillies. Phillies coming in, having lost 5 in a row. Yes, 5 in a row for the Phillies, 9 of their last 10. Cubs comfortably in first place in the NL Central, and this one actually needed more than 9 innings to find a winner. Let's check in with Connor Thomas from Locked On Phillies with the outcome for this one.
The Phillies snapped their 5-game losing streak. Brandon Marsh walks it off in the 11th. What a win for the Philadelphia Bunting Phils. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. Some big-time bunts, sacrifices, and for hits in the later innings by the Philadelphia Phillies. And when the offense isn't rolling, that's what you got to do. Zach Wheeler was great, and a couple times late, it looked like the Phillies were going to give this one away. But credit to the bullpen. They absolutely battled. Kerkering, Romano, Carlos Hernandez. He didn't have his best outing, but still got enough of the job done. And the Phillies, bad base running, some mistakes defensively, like all over the place in this game. But it doesn't matter. We'll take any win we can get right now for the Phillies, especially one with a walk-off variety, and maybe that will get this team going. I don't know. Momentum feels like they have a little something from this, I guess. We'll find out tomorrow. But tonight, we just finally enjoy a win. We'll talk on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Yeah, I mentioned Zach Wheeler's big night, 6 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 7 Ks, one of the best in baseball, ERA down to 2.85. Big nights for Nick Castellanos. He was 3 for 5. JT Realmuto, 2 for 5 with 2 ribbies. We do have a somber Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs with his thoughts on the Cubbies' loss tonight.
Just a very difficult loss on Monday night for the Cubs in Philadelphia, very similar to their last 3 losses. Almost the same loss, just a different version of it. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. Cubs hit some balls hard. They found gloves. Phillies didn't hit a lot of baseballs hard. They found grass. The Phillies didn't deserve to win this baseball game. They ran into a bunch of outs. They made a lot of plays that they shouldn't have, but the Cubs couldn't capitalize. Ultimately, this game came down to the 10th and 11th innings where the Cubs had opportunities against Romano with an ERA over 7, Hernandez an ERA over 5. They were only able to muster 1 run, and that was the ghost runner, and Palencia wasn't able to hold the lead in the 11th. The Cubs just got to try not to let this become a thing, because I've seen this happen before, where these type of losses, these type of weird losses, they turn into a funk. And, this Philly team had lost 9 out of 10. They were in a funk. It happens. But you got to find a way to, get out of this, because the Cubs aren't playing bad baseball right now. They're just on the wrong end of 50-50 calls, 50-50 plays, and definitely not hitting up to par. But just a really frustrating game. Never felt like the Cubs were really going to win this game. Maybe when Pete got the 3rd, but upsetting. Daniel Palencia's got to find a way to land a second pitch. He's done a great job so far, but fastball after fastball after fastball for a closer, they're going to get to it.
All right, Cubs fall to 40-26. Phillies go to 38-28. We're going to fly over to the West Coast next. Dodgers and Padres normally give us a pretty good show and didn't disappoint tonight. They're coming up next on MLB Game Night. Today's show being brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site that's made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information, which is going to help you get the job done right. Plus, they've got this complete inventory of over 200,000 parts. That's right. Pretty much anything you can think of, they got it From 400 plus top brands, you're going to find exactly what you need. It's going to get delivered fast to you, and it doesn't matter where you are in the U.S. Coast to coast, they're going to get it to you fast. Need help with an order? Supply House also offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person, which is oh so nice. And for trade pros, if you're looking for that extra edge, be sure to try their free Trade Master program, which offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line. You're going to get free shipping. You're going to get discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it is your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Dodgers at Padres. Usually an entertaining matchup when these two get together, the NOS battle. LA had Dustin May on the mound, who I am always amazed that anybody ever hits him. He's got incredible stuff. He's on the hill against Nick Pivetta for the Friars. We got Vince from Locked On Dodgers to tell us all about what ended up being an offensive show at Petco.
I know it's only June, but that stress felt a little October-esque. But much like October 2024, the Dodgers came out on top. They win in extra innings against the Padres. This is Vince from Locked On Dodgers. And it was a tale of two games in this one. The first few innings where no starting pitcher could get anything done. And then the last part of the game where the bullpen shut it down, it came down to the 10th inning and the Dodgers came out on top. Dustin May, even though he gave up 6 runs in the first 3 innings, was able to stretch it out to 5 innings, and that really helped out. Then you had Anthony Banda with the big 2 innings. Vesia, Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott shut things down. On the offensive side, it was a big night early on. Went cold a little bit, but when it came down to it, the Dodgers got it done in the 10th inning with Andy Pajes and Tommy Edman coming through. It was a fun game. There was a lot of weird things on both sides. But, hey, they got the win. Their lead increases in the division to 2 games. And essentially, they'll leave San Diego with at least a tie of the division. We're going to talk about it all on Locked On Dodgers, where we get podcasts and on YouTube.
Dodgers are getting healthier, John.
Yeah.
You know, they've got Kirby Yates, who just came back. Michael Kopech just came back this weekend. Yates was able to throw a scoreless inning in this one. Tanner Scott made his, 700th appearance already this season?
They get Yates and Kopech back, but they still had to bring in Tanner Scott.
Still had to go too.
Overworked, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's like 2 appearances away from the league lead, and it just feels like he's in there every single night. Padres have a tough go with runners in scoring position, go just 3 of 14, but super tight battle going out in the NL West. The Giants a game and a half back of the Dodgers. Padres 2 games back. Can the Dodgers hold them off? What do you think?
Yeah, if they can continue to get healthy, then they're going to be just fine, because we know that the bullpen has been the issue. They've gone to Tanner Scott 700 times, like you said. And so to get some health back in the back end of the bullpen, that's going to go a long way for them. They might have games like this where it does go into extra innings, but between that offense and then having some more guys who can lock it down on the back end, I think that's an equation for good things for the Dodgers, JD.
Not the sexiest matchup on paper, but the Pirates were at home against the Marlins, and the Pirates have been feeling themselves recently. They're coming off that sweep of the Phillies, feeling all good about themselves.
Right.
Marlins, though, had their young fireballer Yuri Perez back on the hill, coming into the rotation after the arm injury that he'd been dealing with. We got Jeremiah from Locked On Marlins with his thoughts on Perez's season debut in Pittsburgh.
Even with Yuri Perez's final line, I'm here to tell you that there's nothing to worry about. It's Jeremiah Geiger from Locked On Marlins. And look, this was the first time in 628 days that Yuri Perez has pitched in a Major League Baseball game. First off, that's a great accomplishment, battling back from Tommy John surgery. And against the Pirates, he went 3 innings, gave up 4 runs, but he did strike out 5. My big takeaway is that the stuff is still electric. He's healthy now. And moving forward, the momentum is only going to continue. He's going to get better. Do not overreact from one start. But overall, the Pirates did take it to the Marlins in this one. They won 10-3. After Yuri Perez left the game, it was Jansen Junk who came in, and he got hit around. Gave up 9 hits in 4 innings, gave up 5 runs. And the Pirates went for an offensive explosion. I didn't expect that. I thought the Marlins were going to be in this game till the end. And credit to Pittsburgh. Miami has Sandy Alcantara on the mound tomorrow. Hopefully they can bounce back.
Yeah, and who could blame Jeremiah? I mean, not a lot of people are looking at that Pirates lineup and go, yeah, that's scary. They're going to put up, double-digit runs. No, that doesn't normally happen. But we do have Gary from Locked On Pirates with us. And, he's obviously excited. Another victory for the Pirates. And here he is talking about how big these wins have been for the franchise.
The Pirates won big tonight, 10-3, 4 games in a row. Hey, this is Gary from Locked On Pirates. Whew. Feels good. Feels good. And no, I do not say something like, it's just the Nope. Nope, not from my perch as a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. We take this with every grain of salt. The Pirates don't do this. They don't follow success with more success. What is this, 4 games in a row? Wow. They're back to 500 at home. That's probably not important in the greater scheme of things. But for morale, I think for this club in this city, it's a good thing. Good goal. All right? Next is keep fighting towards something. See if you can keep stacking wins. Got a big Cubs series coming up after this Marlins series. Stay hot. Stay hot into it. It's a fun ride right now. I'm going to talk a lot more about this tomorrow morning on Locked On Pirates.
John, he used the F word right there. Fun.
Yeah.
That doesn't usually go hand in hand with the Pittsburgh Pirates and fun. But here they are enjoying a 4-game winning streak, and clearly Gary's enjoying it thoroughly. Although I would warn you, Gary, don't look past the Marlins and start looking at the Cubs already.
Yeah, I can tell you about that.
Yeah, focus on the Marlins here for a moment before you move on to that stuff. But your thoughts, do you sense life in Pittsburgh at this moment?
Well, he's exactly right. You got to have goals when you're in a situation like the Pirates are, especially when the offense had not been coming through for them, especially for pitchers like Paul Skeens, right? And so to roll through the Phillies and then, pick up this 4th win, you got to celebrate something. You got to raise that Jolly Roger for something, right? And so at this point, I really totally agree with Gary. Aim for those small goals. Aim for 500 at home. Aim for, the next goal if you're a Pirates fan. And have a narrative shifting season to where you might attract some free agents next year. You might be able to make some trades over the offseason, right? Like you might be able to do some things this year that sets you up for success next year. I think that's what the Pirates need to do right now.
Braves at the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers are hosting the 3-game set. Braves have lost 7 in a row and 8 of their last 10 entering Monday. Would they be able to turn it around against Milwaukee with Cy Young winner Chris Sale on the mound? We got Jake from Locked On Braves on the start by the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner.
The Atlanta Braves do win another game. They end their 7-game losing streak with a 7-1 win over the Milwaukee Brewers on Monday night. Jake Mastriani here from Locked On Braves, and it finally happened. This team won a ball game. They got a big lead, and they held on to it. 7-1 victory, and the home runs, a big part of it in this one. Ronald, Olsen, Eli White, all going deep in this game, but it ultimately comes down to Chris Sale, who was fantastic on the mound, delivering the start that he's been delivering, but this time he finally gets a little bit of help from his offense. And Chris Sale has been the Cy Young winner like we saw last year for a while now, looking like one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. The Atlanta Braves could not let another one of his great starts get away, and fortunately they don't this time, and the Atlanta Braves get a victory, and it just feels good to win again. Hopefully there's a lot more of this coming. Hopefully we get a lot more Chris Sale starts like this one. We'll talk more about this over on the Postcast and Locked On Braves.
Now, John, you had a stat here about the lack of production behind the Chris Sale starts. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, 13 of his 14 starts, including today, have had 3 earned runs or less. There's been 1 or 2, I think, here or there where like there was an unearned run, right? But for Chris Sale to only give up 3 earned runs or less in 13 of his 14 starts, Jake's not joking when he says that he needs the Braves to really give him the run support. And Chris Sale has just been electric. Despite the record, the 4-4 record, and despite the Braves record, Chris Sale has not been part of the problem.
No, he certainly has not. Had a couple of rough starts early on, but since then, almost lights out. So Chuck from Locked On Brewers with his thoughts on the Brewers falling for the 32nd time this season.
Walking out of AmFam Field after yet another rough night offensively. I mean, you can argue it's the pitching that they're facing as well. Hi, everybody. Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. And tonight it was Chris Sale. San Diego brought some good pitching over the weekend. But, I mean, Chris Sale was just on his game tonight. Pitching into the 8th inning, going a little old school on us. And, man, that guy has really found something with the Braves. Not much to speak of tonight with this offense. Bullpen came in, had a little bit of rough go in it, but got to score 1 run tonight. This is just brutal offensively. We'll talk more about it later on tonight on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. We'll see you then. Please subscribe.
And Chuck makes a good point, with Sale being as good as he is. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap to the other pitcher. I mean, sometimes they're just better than your hitters on some nights. It doesn't mean that the Brewers all of a sudden stink at offense, although I'm sure they would have liked to have done better. But sometimes you run into a pitcher who's just on, and it happens. So you just got to kind of move on after that. But still incredible to think that the Braves, with all the talent and all those big names that they got on their roster, 28-37 now after this win. If they are going to turn things around, John, who do you think needs to step up the most? If
I'm from the outside looking in, right, and I don't know the Braves as well as obviously Braves fans do, but I got to think it's Matt Olson, right? Like, and he's part of that power unit that they have between him and Acuna and Riley and Michael Harris. I know Michael Harris doesn't hit a ton of home runs, but the fact is they need their power, and I think it begins and ends with somebody like Matt Olson. I know he didn't have quite the season he normally does last year, and I know that everybody on the Braves is really struggling right now, but for me, if you have that power hitting first baseman, like he's got to do power hitting first baseman things.
Leads the team with 14 home runs right now, but hitting just 238, so he's got to continue to be that offensive juggernaut that he was a couple of years ago when he just went off and everybody's like, oh my gosh, they stole him from the A's. What had happened? Who let this go down? This is legal. But the Braves, it just seems like they're just kind of waiting. They're lingering, and as soon as they get hot and they follow like an Acuna or something, that they might just take off. Would like to see Spencer Strider get things turned around a little bit more for them as well. He's had a rough go since coming back from his injury. Coming up next, the Reds were visiting the Guardians on Monday with a chance to claim the Ohio Cup. Yes, that is a thing. The Ohio Cup in 2025. We'll talk about it next on MLB Game Night. Today's show is being brought to you by Monarch Money. Have you ever checked your bank account and then wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, between the online shopping, going out for entertainment stuff, it's really easy to lose track of where all your funds go, and that's where Monarch Money comes in and becomes your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app. No. It's a complete financial command center. It's going to do all kinds of cool things for you, like track all your accounts, your investments, your spending, and it's going to do it all in one place so you can stop managing your money and actually start building wealth. Money conversations with your partner, smoother than ever, because you can track shared and personal accounts. You can set goals together, and you stay on the same page, and you can do it all without the stress, which is what everybody hates. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com and get 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Reds at the Guardians. Battle of Ohio in Cleveland. The Reds are coming off that home sweep against the Arizona Diamondbacks, while the Guardians are welcoming back former manager Terry Francona, or Tito, as his friends call him, for the first time since he stepped away after that final season in Cleveland. I believe that was 2023. Wade Miley on the hill for the Reds in this one. Same stadium that he threw a no-hitter at back in 2021 up against Luis Ortiz, who just had a really good outing against the Yankees. Opened up a lot of eyes there. We got Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds with us, and he had his takes on how things went for Cincinnati.
Maybe they ought to rename it the Tito Cup. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And Terry Francona has never lost the Ohio Cup, because now the Cincinnati Reds have taken it from the Cleveland Guardians, and it's coming back home to Cincinnati. Okay, it's really dramatic. I get it. But it was actually a pretty good game for the Cincinnati Reds on Monday night. You saw a great performance from the lineup, just a barrage of hitting. Not the most efficient performance, but they just kept putting guys on base. And the key hits came from the outfield. Yeah, the Reds outfield, the much maligned outfield. TJ Friedl with a home run, Jake Fraley with a home run, both those guys with multi-hit, multi-run scoring games. Will Benson with a big add-on RBI late in this game. Man, Will Benson really loves hitting against the Cleveland Guardians. And hey, Wade Miley did his job. He kept the Reds in a good spot to win. It's really all you can ask for whenever the guy's filling in for his first start since Tommy John. Now let's see if the Reds can get their 5th win in a row tomorrow night with a series victory in Cleveland.
Reds offense, 16 hits in this one, John. Everyone except Matt McClain had a hit tonight. The thing with the Reds, though, is, 16 hits on Monday, and they could have 4 tomorrow. You know, it's been a very Jekyll and Hyde offense. But you can see why there's still hope in the Queen City. This is not a team that, they're a game over 500 now. So you can see why they still believe that they've got some room to grow here in 2025.
Yeah, you just wonder what's going to be the catalyst for the consistency, right? You have, like you said, you have these 16 hit games, and then we've often heard from Jeff, like, no offense, right? No runs scored. And so you just wonder, like, where's the consistency with this team? It's something that they're going to want to find in the next month, to be honest with you, because they really got to decide if they want to buy or sell at the trade deadline.
Yeah, they got a couple guys back. CES is back playing at first base. They're supposed to get Austin Hayes back. Obviously, Hunter Green going down is huge blow to that rotation. We don't know when he's going to be back after that growing injury. So we'll see if the offense can carry it for a little while in Cincinnati. Moving on to the Blue Jays at my Cardinals. All right, who's got a puke bucket? Because I'm going to need it for this one, John. This one sucked.
Sorry, brother.
Cardinals coming off the series victory over the Dodgers, riding high, right? And I do worry about when you play one of the big teams, the guys like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cubs, stuff like that, and you have this, emotional high from playing them. And then I'm not saying that Toronto's like a small market by any means, but I'm just saying they're not one of those teams.
Right.
And so I worry about what the drop-off's going to be. Blue Jays, they've been hot. They've won 4 series in a row coming into St. Louis. Blue Jay starter Jose Barrios was excellent, shutting out the Cardinals over 6 2/3 innings. Toronto led this game 3-0 heading into the 8th inning. And I was sitting there going, somebody wake me up. I'm falling asleep watching this game. It was so boring. But the Cardinals conjure up some 2-out magic in the 8th inning. They get a 2-out RBI single from Wilson Contreras. And then Ivan Herrera hits a 3-run rocket down the line in the left field corner, goes right at the cameraman, which was a cool shot. And out of nowhere, the Cardinals have this 4-3 lead, and you think, oh my gosh, we're going to steal one from Toronto, just like pull the rug out from underneath them. Toronto's number 9 hitter, Jonathan Clase, who had 1 career home run, mind you, coming into this game, takes reigning NL closer of the year, Ryan Helsley, deep to right center, ties the ball game up. Blue Jays would go on to win this one 5-4 in 10. Helsley has looked like a shell of the dominant guy he was last year. The strikeout percentage is down. The walks and the hits are up. It feels like he's never got a clean inning. Blows his 3rd straight save opportunity. He's been on the field. Last 3 times have been save opportunities, and he's blown all of them. 5 total on the year. Only blew 4 games all of last season. It was gross, John. I don't know what else to say about it. It was a rough one because you feel like you were done anyway. You come back, you're like, oh my gosh, and then it just blows up in your face again. Cardinal fans are standing outside Busch Stadium right now with pitchforks and lit torches for Ryan Helsley. What do you say to them as somebody who's an outsider to calm them down, or do you think they should start thinking about moving on to other guys in that closer's role?
Bullpen pieces are the most volatile players in baseball. One day they're up, the next day they're down. Give it some time. I mean, look, we were saying this about Emmanuel Clase, right? More blown saves this year than he had all of last year, right? And now he's returned to form somewhat, still a little bit shaky sometimes, but especially when it comes to closers, they're so volatile. I think that at the end of the day, Helsley's going to be fine. I know that it's been 3 straight, but I feel your pain. There's something in the closer water this year that's causing this, and but I say hold out hope, Cardinals fans.
All right, calm down, everybody. Let's go to some happier thoughts. Let's go to your Angels, who were taking on the A's. What happened in your game?
Yeah, the A's took a series against Baltimore over the weekend, and then they came into Anaheim, where the Angels took 2 out of 3 from the Mariners, AL West rival. This one worked out great because this was Yusei Kikuchi's best outing of the year. 7 1/3 innings pitched. JD, 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 Ks, no earnies on 104 pitches, lowers his ERA to 2.90 on the season. But it's just his second win of the year, and that's because the Angels haven't given him a lot of run support, but they did give him a 4-0 lead. They got consecutive singles from Neto and Shawnuel and Trout to score 3. Joe Adell adds on with a solo homer in the next inning. By the way, add Joe Adell to your fantasy team, people, because he's just on a tear right now. It might not last forever. It's not going to last forever, trust me. But right now he's on a tear. Got to shout out Denzel Clark, the center fielder for the A's. Made one of the greatest home run robberies you'll ever see. Go look it up. We retweeted it on the Locked On Angels Twitter page. By the way, that was a very Mike Trout home run robbery. Old school Mike Trout. He was drafted 16 years ago today or yesterday, depending on your time zone. The Angels can thank Mark Teixeira for signing with the Yankees before 2009. To get that draft pick compensation. So the Angels take this one 7-4 on the back of a Yusei Kikuchi start. Every time he strikes somebody out, the Blue Jays started this. The Angels have kept on the tradition. They play Lisa Loeb's Yusei every time he strikes somebody out. I love it so much. I'm a sucker for 90s music.
All right. I like that. All right. Last game of the night, Mariners at the Diamondbacks. Another game that goes to extra innings. Arizona ends up winning this one by a score of 8-4. The D-backs were coming off that sweep by the Reds in Cincinnati, while the Mariners dropped 2 out of 3. Who did they lose to again, John?
I think it was the Angels, JD.
Okay.
Down in Anaheim. That's
wanted a reminder there. A lot of offense in this one. Merrill Kelly was excellent for Arizona. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 Ks, no earned runs. He's been solid all year. Corbin Carroll, my dude in fantasy, 19th home run of the year. Only had 22 all of last year. Remember, he had that really bad start to the year and then came on in the second half. But everything seemed to be going according to plan until the 9th inning. And Arizona fans do not want to hear about more injuries, but it happened. Reliever Justin Martinez strikes out the first 2 hitters. Then he gives up a 2-out walk. There's 2 pitches to the next guy. Calls the trainer out immediately, goes to the dugout. He's done. So we don't know the extent of the injury yet. But he came off the field right away. You could tell he wasn't happy. So don't want to speculate, but it didn't look good. Jeff Brigham comes in and he gives up back-to-back singles and then a 2-run home run to Dominic Canzone. Ties the game at 4. They would go to 11 innings. And that is when Josh Naylor steps up to the plate. Grand salami, the walk-off grand salami.
Touch
for
them
the
all.
Diamondbacks. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Just the 3rd walk-off grand slam in Diamondbacks history. Last one back in 2011, Ryan Roberts. I be honest with you, I don't know who the hell that is. Never heard of him.
Same here.
But apparently hit a walk-off grand slam in 2011 for the Diamondbacks.
It's always that guy, right? It's always those kind of guys. Who? Yeah.
Yeah. So Arizona wins it 8-4 in 11 innings. And that wraps up game night tonight. Oh, okay. Thank you for joining us for this episode. Hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We do hope that you'll be able to come back, visit us next time on MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.